G'day, Jack Wilson here from AgFirst with Jonathan Brooks. We're back again doing another orchard walk, and we're going to look at do a bit of a review on some platforms.
We're going to look at the two main types of platforms, the fixed height platform and the multi-level platform. We're going to run through the advantages and limitations of both of these, and also find out from a few growers what they think of these platforms after owning them for a few months.
So in this topic, what we're going to do is cover off how we can actually make harvest more efficient. So one of the things that we've been thinking that is really important to try and get ramped up is talking about people and improving the efficiency of them. And so we're covering off a bit of stuff at the moment on platforms and picking techniques and ways of actually making sure that the pickers that we have got available, they can work to their best efficiency. Okay, so one of the key parts of when you're considering the use of platforms is you need to understand what their limitations are, what they can do and what they can't do. What works for one grower might not work for another, and we need to understand things like whether they need large headlands, whether they can work on hilly conditions, whether they work within your own individual situations. So key that not everything's going to suit everybody, but what we're going to try and do with these demonstrations is just to cover off some of the features and stuff of the individual machines, and then you can go away and compare that to your own situations and whether that fits in with your own business. The key part of all the platform design is we're trying to make the people that are on them a lot more efficient and effective. So what we're looking for is potentially looking for pickers that might not be able to pick with a bag and ladder, or people that are quite competent, and seeing if we can make them be more effective and more efficient in their work. Okay, so the machine that we've got going in front of us, you can see that it's doing a little bit of adjustment side to side. So this is a machine that can actually do auto adjust for hillsides and making sure that the table stays quite flat. Not only can it do that side to side, it can do it front to back as well. So if you're heading downhill or uphill, it can make adjustments, or it can be manually adjusted. You can see the hydraulic rams at the back. That is for fruit bins to be picked up, and the fruit bins at harvest go right through the middle of the machine and come out, they come out the back, they go the other way, they come towards us. So they're picked up at the front, end up put on, and the pickers, basically where the guys are standing at the moment, there will be a bin between them. They'll turn around, they'll take a small picking bucket, they'll turn around and pick into it. This machine is not coming fitted with conveyors, so picking conveyors, but they will be picking with buckets, and there's lots of different discussions about which is the better, but what they're working on here is that this is a simpler system and potentially there's less chance of something going wrong.
And this system would be more suited to this sort of canopy in the 2D, where you've pretty much got two heights that you're working at. The guys at the top can look at the top half of the tree, and then you can have a crew down at the bottom working on the bottom of the tree. These guys at the moment have set it up on a self-drive system. Obviously that can be changed, whether the driver just wants to let three guys work on three trees and then move once they're done, or the self-drive.
So as Jack said before, this is one fixed height. So there are other platform systems out there which work at multiple heights as you're working through. But they'll tend to pick the bottom in these blocks, they'll pick the bottom of these trees with people on the ground, and then they'll pick what would have been done with the ladder before with these platforms. So, and they'll adjust that height to whatever they think is the most suitable. So that height is height adjustable up to, I think it's about 4.5 metres, so a lot higher than what they're working at the moment, and it's adjustable quite wide as well, so it can go a lot wider than what it's set at, but it works well in these plainer situations for sure.
So one of the biggest limitations of this hydroladder platform is that you're only as fast as your slowest worker. However, one of the main advantages of that is that everyone's sitting on the same height. So if someone's lacking, you've got 5 other people there ready to help, so that if you are self-driving, you stay at that constant speed and you're not lacking around. Another main advantage is that if you see in the middle of the platform there, you've got a big bottle of water, you've got all your tyres and clips all there ready for anyone to use. These guys have put buckets on the side so that it's easy reach to clippers and secateurs or whatever you need. Alright, so now we're looking at a Revo platform. As opposed to the hydroladder that we just saw, We've got platforms at 2 levels, 2 out the back, which you can see these 2 guys are working on, and 2 out the front. And then we can have 2 people on the ground as well. These guys are thinning at the moment. The orchardist here has put in tubes that he's getting these thinners to shut the apples down to prevent any damage on the platform as well as the fruit on the tree down below. At harvest, an empty bin will be lifted on to the front. It comes through the middle, and then we're using conveyors to pick onto, and then a bin filler rotates the bin to softly put the apples down into the bin. So we've got the orchardist with us now. He's owned this platform for about 3 months, just before thinning. So what do you think the key advantages and limitations are so far of the Revo?
Probably the limitations would be the width of it, and obviously having to adapt the canopy to get it through. Some of our blocks we can't get it through. Also the depth of the canopy, on the wider rows the guys struggle to get in, and probably, as you'll see there, the odd bit of machine damage. But other than that, the advantages are you can sort of put people with relatively low skill level on it and get reasonable productivity out of them. And also fatigue, the guys can work longer hours and still go home feeling pretty good, really, versus working on a ladder where they sort of get tired near the end of the week, which is understandable, really.
So what is this row spacing here that we're looking at?
These are 3.6 metre row spacings.
And the platform is?
I think it's about 1.5 wide.
And so next season, would you look to do a little bit of canopy manipulation?
So after this season and using a platform, our long-term strategy is to get a mechanical trimmer and trim the rows, and obviously just do a winter tidy up. That's the only way I can see that the platform will work.
Cheers, Phil. One last thing to note is the lights that these guys have installed on this platform, mainly just to future-proof it a bit. We're not going to know how many people we're going to have for harvest this year, so to be able to bring in a team in at night or when it's getting dark and to be able to have those lights might just put another shift in the works. Alright, g'day, this is Craig Wilson. He's now been a crown over of a Revo platform for a few months now. So what kind of been the main positives out of the Revo?
Well, the main positive is you're getting a different labour source on it, different dynamic person on it. So, they don't have to obviously go up ladders and all the rest of it. So, thinning those tops of the trees, going through, when they don't have to take a ladder from tree to tree, and it's just a constant line. And I had 2 guys on hydros against 2 guys on this, and they were experienced guys on the hydros, and my daughter was new and all that, and they ended up after the first day beating them down the road doing just the same job. So,
right. And same height, they could reach the whole part of the tree.
Whole part of the tree.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it's just it's sort of, I suppose, doing your bit to try and get that different dynamic on a tree. So so because of the elevators and all the rest of it, not having picking buckets.
Yeah. So when you are thinning, you're looking at just the 2 people on the tops on the platform.
Oh no, I think in the future we'll probably be looking at the 4, and the ground crew once the canopy is a little bit bigger. Probably the biggest negative I can see is you're going to have to prune to it. You can't have any substantial branches on the top of the tree. The height's an issue, and if you have them to start drop tonnage per hectare, then whether that weighs up or whether you put the Revo through and then have to put a hydro ladder through, which I wouldn't want to do. So that all is going to have to come into it, but certainly during the winter prune we're going to have to take out some of the bigger branches and prune to it. So it's just interesting times and trying to do your bit, really.
But it's the first step to a new labour situation, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly that.
Okay, so in summary, after talking to a few growers around the Hawke's Bay region,
We can tell that the advantages and limitations of both of these platform systems, the fixed height and the multi-leveled system, coincide with each other. Some of the main advantages of these platforms is that they support a team environment with limited experience needed. It reduces fatigue of our workers, leading to better productivity over time. These guys can go home less fatigued and come back fresh in the morning. However, one of the overriding limitations of these is the suitability to different canopies. The situation in the Revo platform was the 3D canopies, although it got most of the tree, height was a problem and depth of the canopy was an issue. In order to fix that, we'll need to be doing a lot of canopy manipulation, whether that be trimming or making some hard cuts down the bottom for that platform to get through the rows. However, overall, if you're looking to invest in platform technology, I think you need to have a look at what your orchard's doing at the moment, what your canopy system structure is set up, and figure out what percentage of your orchard would be suitable to these platform situations, and then go from there. Every orchard is going to be different and is going to require different features from different platforms. However, overall, I think removing ladders and picking buckets and being able to attract a different demographic to work in our orchards is a massive positive. We just need to make sure we have the processes in place to make those people on the platforms as efficient as they can be and make the trees as suitable as they can be to this platform to make this work. It's a step in the right direction to fix our labour issues. It may not solve the whole problem, but it's a step in the right direction.